Hi everyone, and welcome to Pass the Time Players. My name is Debbie DeCeco Lannen, and I'm the director of Pass the Time Players. For the past 2 evenings, we've been reading a portion of my book, Crystal, A Fairy's Dream. We're going to do this third installment this evening, and if you missed the first 2, they are posted on our Facebook page. So I hope you've been enjoying the story so far, and let us continue with Crystal's adventure. I waited to see if anyone would pick me. What if I wasn't picked? Why would anyone want to team up with me after the 2 mishaps I'd had on the past 2 days? All the fairies were darting in and out of the branches, looking us all over. Finally, I sensed someone behind me. I turned to see the most beautiful young fairy I had ever seen. Oh my gosh, it can't be. It was Goldie. She's the #1 fairy. I must be dreaming. Goldie was the captain of the Glistening Forest Dance Company. She couldn't be on my branch. She must have made a mistake, but she never makes mistake. This was my hero. I had a little picture of her on my bedside table at home. Oh, I wanted to be just like Goldie. She could fly in and out of the branches, and you never even knew she was there. Her wings shone like gold in the starlight, gold sprinkled with sparkles, crystals. Hey, gold and crystals. Maybe we were meant to be a team. My hopes had never been higher. All right, new fairies, please come one at a time. Fly over the head of the fairy on your branch and land behind them. Make sure you keep your wing noise down. Get your height up really high for liftoff and land as silently as possible, instructed Miss Sparkle. Here goes nothing. I took a deep breath, fluttered my wings, and lifted off the branch. I soared over the head of Goldie, making sure to get enough clearance and not to catch the branch above me. I then tiptoed onto the branch for a silent landing. I did it! I really did it! Oh, I was so happy! Goldie smiled at me. I never felt so good about myself, ever. Very nicely done, class. No crashes, no entanglements. This is what a class is supposed to be like. I'm very proud of all of you. That will be all for today. Now take time heading home. Get plenty of rest tonight because tomorrow we will begin our precision training. See you all bright and early. Miss Sparkle swiftly flew out the door. I turned to thank Goldie, but she too was gone. How do they do that? I didn't hear her wings or see her fly by me. Guess I have a lot to learn. On my flight home, I decided to stop for a little reward. I had executed everything in class without one mishap. That was quite a day for me. I was always getting myself out of some kind of a mess. Oh, what should it be? A new ornament for my hair? Maybe one with glitter, or maybe a stop at the candy shop. Maybe they had those gooey caramels I love so much. And then I saw it. There in the bookstore, the new copy of Fairies in Flight. It was finally out. I had been waiting for that book for ages. And there it was, the new edition of my favorite magazine. And there on the cover was Goldie. Oh my goodness, she looked beautiful. I stood outside the store staring at the cover of that new copy. Oh, I longed to be just like her. She was so graceful. Her flying was effortless. Someday, I promise, someday I will be just as graceful as Goldie. I hurried into the store and crashed right into another fairy waiting in line. Hey, watch where you're going, squealed the fairy whose wing I had just pinched. Sorry. The store was packed. It seemed like everyone had left class and came straight to the bookstore. Why didn't I realize this edition was coming out? Oh well, better late than never. The line was moving very slowly. Each fairy paid the cashier and then whisked out the door, clutching her special purchase. I couldn't wait. I had 4 more fairies in front of me. 3, 2, 1. May I help you? It was Mr. Chandler, the store owner. Hi, Mr. Chandler. I'd like the newest copy of Fairies in Flight, please. Oh, I'm sorry, Crystal. I'm all sold out. Sold out? Sold out? I couldn't believe what he was saying. How could he be sold out? It just came out today, 30 minutes ago. I just stood there. Are you sure? Mr. Chandler nodded. Could you sell me the copy in the window? I turned around and noticed it was gone. Someone must have bought it. Oh, I was so disappointed. This was just like everything else that happened to me. I was so close. Almost so close, and then something happens. Why did it always have to happen to me? I can order a few more copies, but they won't be here till next week, said Mr. Chandler. Sure, that would be great. At least I'd still have a copy, even if it was late. It'd still be part of my collection. I collected every copy of Fairies in Flight since I was able to read. I'd first go through and look at all the pictures, then I'd go back and read every article cover to cover. And lastly, I would go to the classified section and add items to my wish lists, things that I hoped one day to buy so that I could truly become the best glistening forest fairy ever. Thank you, Mr. Chandler. I'll stop back next week. Have a good day. I turned to fly home to make some dinner, and there, standing in the doorway, was Goldie. Hi, I noticed you didn't get your copy of the new magazine. Here, take mine. And she handed me her copy. I was stunned. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. Don't worry, I'm sure my family has bought at least 5 copies of it by now. You can have this one. Finally, my voice came back and I squeaked out, "Thank you." I took the copy and reached for my purse to pay her. When I looked up, she was gone. How did she do it? I really didn't hear anything. She's quite a fairy. It was Mr. Chandler, always helping the younger fairies. I can see why they put her on the cover. Well, enjoy your magazine. See you next month, if not sooner. And he smiled and went to the storage area in the back of the store. Just when I thought my day was taking a turn for the worse, it became amazing. What luck! Running into Goldie, and now I have the very issue of the magazine with her picture on it. Oh, I was going to be flying high on my way home. That is, I was going to be extremely happy and extremely careful. I didn't want anything to happen to this gift from Goldie. The rest of my evening was very uneventful. I made dinner, then curled up in my comfy bed to browse the pages of Fairies in Flight. As always, I first looked at each and every picture. Someday this will be me, I thought. Then I read a few of the articles. I planned to finish the one about the silver or gold sparkles, which was, which one was better, when my eyes began to feel really tired. It had been another long day of training, and I had an even longer day tomorrow, so I'd better turn out the light and get some sleep. I snuggled down under my comforter. Ooh, it felt wonderful. I knew I'd have no trouble falling asleep. I was exhausted. Then a flash of light danced across my ceiling. Probably just a cloud passing in front of the moon. I snuggled a little deeper into my covers. My feather pillow felt just right. Oh, I should be in Dreamland any minute. Then there it was again. Little sparkles of light all over my ceiling. I jumped from my bed and scurried to my bedroom window. The night was clear, no clouds blocking anything. What was it that caused that light? Well, I wasn't going back to bed until I found out. I quickly got dressed and then crouched by the window. If that light came again, I was going to be ready to follow it. I squinted into the darkness. I couldn't see anything. Occasionally, a rabbit hopped across the lawn, but surely he had nothing to do with it. it had to be some fairies practicing. And if that was the case, I wanted to be in on the practice. It seemed an eternity, but it was probably only 5 minutes or so, and the lights appeared again. It came in a flash from the direction of the glistening forest. I knew it. The other fairies were out there practicing. Why didn't they invite me? I flew out the door and headed towards the forest, even though I knew young fairies like myself were not supposed to venture into the forest without an escort. Although it was a beautiful place, it was very easy to get twisted around and lose your way. That was one of the reasons we all went to the dance academy. It wasn't only to learn all the dance moves required, it was to help with direction. You see, when the glistening forest is in full season, it is spectacular. Glinting reflections everywhere. It's so beautiful. But to a fairy, it can also begin to look kind of all the same. That's part of the reason for our training, so we could in an instant tell where we were and what area of the forest needed our help to look its best. As I got to the edge of the forest, I caught a glimpse of a fluttering wing. I ducked out of the way just in time to miss one of the dance company fairies as she glided into the distance. I was right. They are practicing. I thought as I hesitated at the entrance, should I go in or should I go home? I couldn't decide. And then I saw her. It was Goldie, nestled among the branches. I waved, hoping she'd notice me, and it worked. She smiled and motioned for me to fly up onto the branch with her. This day just kept getting better and better. That's our installment for the evening. Crystal, A Fairy's Dream. I hope you're enjoying the story. We will finish up our story tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So if you haven't seen the first 2 installments, go to our Pass the Time Players page and they're posted there. And until next time, thank you for joining the Pass the Time Players, and I will see you tomorrow night. Bye.